Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with CircWorks Art Labs, welcoming you once again to the underground lair, where today we're taking a break from doing robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity to work on some Miscrits. Specifically, we are working on our Evolution 3 Miscrit, and we're going to be doing the line art. We're going to go to the computer labs and start working on that portion pretty soon, but we're going to do a little show and tell, or a lot of show and tell, because I got a huge stack of stuff to show you guys. So there was a request on the YouTube comments that wanted me to show off some of the sketches I did for Miscrits the game. Now, before I start showing these, if you've been watching these videos, you know I usually draw out a really light blue pencil. Most of these sketches are not really meant for anyone to see other than myself or to get approval or whatever. When we were working on the game, a lot of it was really fast-paced. We'd do these real quick sketches, and we'd show it. We'd show it to the higher-ups. They'd either give us the yay or nay, and then we'd go and into the computer and we'd take it from there. So a lot of this stuff, again, it's really, I drew it really light. Most of the work is done actually digitally once we get in the computer and everything. So hopefully some of this stuff will actually show on camera. We're going to do our best to kind of show some of this stuff off. So anyway, and some of them are a little darker than others. It just really depends. So we'll start off with this is one of our starters, Bloombug. Oh no, you know what? I don't know if I have all the evolutions of these. It's kind of just a mix and match of different stuff that I have here. And I should have put all these right side up because a lot of them are upside down and everything. So we'll start off, and just to let you guys know, if you are, I mean, these are right now just kind of in storage, collecting dust. So if there's stuff here that you're interested in owning, send me an email at scott@circworks.com. If there's anything in particular, this is the original art. This is the artwork that started it all. So if you see a Miscrit in the game, if it's one that you like to play, and if it's one that I created, and those are most of the earlier Miscrit, or a lot of the ones I created were earlier Miscrits, because the game's been going on a lot longer since I've been on the game. But anyway, some of these older, more vintage Miscrits, early starters and things like that. This is the original artwork. So this is the first thing anyone ever saw, and how the actual idea originated. So I have these, and I can give you a price on those. Maybe we put them in a nice mat. We can send those out to you guys if you're interested. Just hit me up on the emails. But anyway, so let's start off. We've got this is Bloombug, and I think this is like maybe the second evolution. Can you see that? This one is like super light. Again, we just draw these on regular copy paper. Again, these weren't really meant for anything other than... Now, in the beginning of the game, I don't know if you can tell this, but in the beginning of the game, there were two views of each creature. There was a front view and a back view, so when they would battle, you kind of see that perspective. So it would be like, in the original, it would be sort of like, I don't know, like a Pokemon look, versus what we decided to go with was more of a Street Fighter side-by-side. So anyway, so we've got like back views of some of these creatures. This one was a real popular one for a while. It was like really one of the most powerful ones, and then and just a simple little guy. This is BlazBit, which I think it says Magmite, which was the original name, and I think that sounded too much like another character from another game, so they changed it. So you'll find a lot of that little stuff, like there's little notes and stuff on some of these or names that weren't chosen. Again, there's the back view of what BlazBit became. And I think we even actually, some of these we actually even colored some of those in some of the prototyping. This is Grimstone, which I think is the third evolution. These aren't really in order, but that's BlazBit. He's kind of a lava guy. I think this is the second evolution. I think we changed the pose on this guy. Smolderon, I think is his name. And I don't remember all the names. I'll try to figure out some. So this is Azteco. He's a little, some of them I spent a little, I made them a little dark and everything, but sort of like an Aztec gecko. I really like the idea of this guy here. So here's another evolution of him. And I guess I only have 2 right now. I probably, if you're looking for some of the other evolutions, I may have them somewhere I got to go through. I got just tons of these things, so I just kind of grabbed what I could find. This one is, I don't remember the name, but he started off as sort of a water seal with water powers and everything. Again, we've got, this is one of the earlier ones, so he's got a back view. And then this was another option that we were going to do with this character. Oh no, you know what? This is one that never ended up in the game. I think because it ended up it was kind of like the previous one that I just showed you guys, but this one was called Kilowatter, and he's sort of an otter lightning guy, and that never actually went into the game. So kind of an interesting miscrit that could have been Kilowatter, kind of like the name. So I guess I got him mixed up in with the other one because he looks similar. So this back to the, now in the beginning of the game, we'd have creatures like, it would be a seal that would evolve into like, I guess like an otter, but that was a different one. The seal would evolve into like a walrus or something, and then after that we tried to kind of keep them more towards the same kind of species and not change that dramatically. And then this is the, I forgot the name, but it was like an elephant seal. You can kind of see that. Oh, and then here's the final, I think this is the final evolution where it was the walrus. Does it have a name? I didn't put a name on that, so. All right, so this is the one that we kind of affectionately refer to as the My Little Pony miscrit. Equestrian, definitely. And this is before the resurgence of My Little Pony, when it became even more popular with the bronies and everything. This is kind of, I like this creature. He's sort of he's not really based on any particular animal, just a sea creature. I like the way that looked. I think he looks a little like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, but I kind of figured him as sort of a misfit, and I really like that pose on this guy here. Then we got some later evolutions of him. And then the final one, of course, you can see that. All right. Then we've got, this is, these are out of order. So this is our Lightning Chameleon. This is probably, I think, the 2nd or 3rd evolution of this guy. Here's some other options for the first one. This is, I think, the 1st evolution. The idea was he's sort of a vampire bat type chameleon that sucks electricity and uses it, and that's why he's hanging upside down. I like the idea of mixing 2 different animals, whether it's a bat or a chameleon. That's the final evolution. Oh, and then, okay, so we aren't told, here's going a little bit out of order again, but back to, that was another evolution. Is that a different evolution of the My Little Pony type miscrit? We've got Snortus. Another early miscrit. Of course, he's going to have, since he was early, again, he's sort of got the back view. And it was kind of a relief when they decided they weren't going to do that, because that was a lot of extra work, and that's kind of why they decided not to do it, just because it would have taken us twice as long to do everything. Now, we've got a creature in here. I don't know if I have any more, but he's sort of like a shrew or like a armadillo or something like that. This was an evolution we didn't really use, where it's just wrapped up in a little ball. We decided not to do that. I guess it, for whatever reason. Pranja, was this one? I think this is one of the starters. I think this is the water starter. So just started off as a prawn, and this is kind of what I was talking about before. We get the back view, if you guys can see that. And then he evolved into sort of a crab. So we've got, crustaceans, so they're sort of in the same family, but they don't really do that so much anymore. So that's her metal crab. Here's the back view of him. And this is probably going to be a long little intro, but I think the actual artwork will go a little shorter. So this is another version of that one that was kind of rolled up in a ball here. You can see him. I don't think this particular version was used. Here's another one, a little cuter. Hopefully you can see that. From later evolution. Now, when I was showing that vampire chameleon guy, this was this was another view, and if you remember the very first episode, I kind of talked about the Miskrit eyes, and you can see this one I did more like actual chameleon eyes, and in the end we decided to axe that and make it sort of look more like the rest of the Miskrit. So he ended up kind of looking a little more like that. And then, of course, the back view. All right, this is one of my favorites, Steam Gwen, the sort of steampunk penguin. I think I showed some of his artwork off in an earlier show. We've got the back view of him. We've got, what was it? This was the Puffin. So again, these evolved from different kinds of penguin-esque creatures. And then this is based on a Great Auk, which is it's a prehistoric penguin. So that was one of my son's ideas, actually, because I wasn't even familiar with that. Because I was trying to think, what can it evolve to? And my kids who wanted to be paleontologists since they were little kids knew all about that kind of stuff. So this is Rocketile. He's a favorite. I like the way he came out. This is one of his later evolutions. I don't remember all the names. There's another Rocketile evolution. Now this one was originally called Corkscrew, and he became Drill Dent because Corkscrew sounded, I guess they thought it sounded like Sandshrew from Pokemon or something, but I like the idea of Corkscrew. And his back view. And then he evolved into sort of, so it was a shrew that sort of evolved into a mole. Got the big, and it has sort of a construction theme, so you'll see these big construction type arms to him. Then he evolved into like a gopher, I think, or these may be out of order, with like buzzsaw hands. Some of these are a little wild in the beginning. This guy, I think is Hedge Badger, I think was his name. He's kind of got a Venus flytrap on his head. It kind of looks like sort of, what were those, Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park, but it's a flytrap on top of his head. And then, or maybe that wasn't, was that Hedge Badger? I don't know. He kind of went through some different looks. And then he became, this one really took a jump because it went from a badger to almost like a Rottweiler type plant thing. This one was actually one that got in the game, and I wasn't, afterwards I wasn't really happy. I wish they would have kind of axed it because I just didn't like the evolutions and the way he turned out. So is one I wasn't very proud of. And then it evolves into something crazy. I don't even remember what the inspiration for this guy. It was just kind of a big giant dragon type thing. So that one was really odd. Again, some of these earlier ones we were just trying to find our way. This is sort of a fire type dragon guy. I forget his name. You guys are probably screaming out the names because you know if you're Miskrit fans, but... Oh, Slithero was the beginning one. That was Slithero. And then, I don't remember, he became... I kind of like that version where he's kind of haunched down and he's got these big giant bulbous arms. Like snake with arms, and then he kind of evolved into sort of a dragon thing too. It's a little hard to see. Now this one was interesting. With this one we wanted to create a small, tiny little, I think at the time powerful Miskrit, but super small. And this was called Spark Speck, and it's just this little fairy, but we wanted to make it super, super small, and not really get that much bigger throughout. It's still, every evolution is just a little bigger than the previous one, but we just thought it would be cool to do, you know. I don't know if this, can you see that, this version? And this was probably another, there's a few different versions of this creature. Here's another one that didn't have arms but had sort of like wings or something, if you can see that. Oh, I did a lot of this one. Yeah, this one was, I probably wasn't trying to figure out what kind of poses and stuff I wanted. There's another one. Wow. Different pose. I don't think this one went in the game. It was I kind of like flying down, but just their perspective was weird for battling and stuff. This one just says lightning bug, which was something that didn't get into the game. It's kind of a bug with a light bulb tail, so it's kind of like a lightning bug, kind of almost like something similar to what Bloom Bug was. So this was our sort of lemur-esque Miskrit, Tremor. Kind of a green, like lemur guy. that became almost like the Rafiki from, you can kind of tell, I think his name is even something similar to that from Lion King, you know, or maybe this one even more so. You can kind of see that. Again, this is where it all started, folks. I think that's the final. Back to another early Miscrit. This one was kind of all over the place too. I think it was Squibby, which was sort of a pirate type squid that became an octopus and then a giant squid and all kinds of things. Oh, here. Oh yeah, so here we go. So I think it went to this one next. And then this thing, it was kind of had a bone. This, yeah, kind of hard to see. Yeah, this one was another one that was kind of like, it was just too much, too many different places. I mean, if I was to go back and redesign some of these things, I would have done things a lot differently. But, you know, I think we started with some of these. So here, this is Bloombug. It was like one of the originals. I think I showed some of these before. This is where it's kind of in its cocoon state. I don't know if we ever had that. I'm not sure if the cocoon ended up in the game or not. I'm trying to remember. You guys probably know. Okay, that's sort of a final evolution there. Here's some other versions of Bloombug. So this is one of the last ones before the Omri Ants that I'd worked on, and this was sort of the bull Miscrit. And it's kind of a fire bull. Here's another evolution of that guy. This one I kind of like because he's like spitting out. It reminds me of there was an old Bugs Bunny cartoon with the bull and like just snorting out like, you know, steam and everything. But since it's a fire bull, I kind of like that. And then it just gets crazy. Look at this guy. I don't know if did the final evolution have two eyes like, or two sets of eyes like this one? I may have axed that out. I don't remember. I don't know if you can see that. So these are some I've got. I did go. Some of these must have been hard to tell because I went over it in some ink. So this is Oxo, which is sort of an ox type looking Miscrit, a wind type, kind of Native American. I want it to be sort of like a shaman or something like that. Very wise. This one I don't know. There was something similar that went in the game, but this is Volter or something like Volt and Vulture. I don't know. This one had two heads. I don't think this one went into the game with the two-headed version of that guy. So this is one that there was like a tag team Miscrit that I did with another artist. I did the first two evolutions, so I don't have the final two. But this is sort of the fossil one. We called him Fossilla, and he was kind of based on a trilobite, if you're familiar with those. Again, that was another suggestion from my kids that we do sort of a prehistoric type Miscrit. You can see now, if you look at his arms, you can kind of see how he's got little shells and things fossilized growing on his armor. This was the one that was originally rejected, and then we got brought back because there was there was just a big fan uproar to get it in the game. This is Cortex, sort of a crystal type Miscrit. I think the biggest reason with that was we didn't really know what kind of, he didn't fit into any of the elements. There wasn't really a crystal element, so I guess he ended up being sort of a water. Was he a water element? I don't remember. But he somehow we just kind of pushed him in the game, but yeah, really he's maybe just because he's more like an ice creature because he's got all the fur and everything, so he's probably like a water creature. But we didn't really know what to do because there's no like crystal element or anything. So that's why originally, even though I think they liked the design, why he didn't go in the game. And this is the final evolution of that guy. Then, so the president of Broken Bulb at the time did not like spiders, is super afraid of spiders. And it was amazing. He didn't even want to look at the sketches, which is weird because they don't really look like real spiders. But we got this kind of water type spider, and he did not want this on the game, but he kind of got overruled by popular opinion, I guess. But anyway, and then that's the final version of that guy. Just a big tarantula looking thing. And then, so I'll end it off with most of the elementums, the big boss battles at the end of each, for each element. Were done by another artist, but the one I did work on was the Lightning Elementum. This one's really hard to tell what's going on. There's just a lot of stuff going on, but that's a sketch for him. And then I went through, and you can see it was a little hard even to tell what was lightning and what was the creature and everything. So the actual creature is done in the blue, and then the lightning around it is done in the red. And even the final one is a little hard to tell. There's just so much stuff going on. But anyway, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the sketches. So thanks for requesting that. Hopefully you got a kick out of that. We're running like 20 minutes just on this intro. So there's no time to waste. We got to get to drawing. Let's go, and we'll make it a quick one. We'll kind of speed it up a little bit. But yeah, I'll see you guys at the computer lab. Okay, so here we are in the computer lab, and as you can see, things have sped up quite a bit because we don't want to make these videos too long. So this is a very show and tell heavy show, but I think it's a good thing because, for one, you've seen this process that I'm doing here in some of the other videos, and it's slowed down a little, so you can kind of, if you're trying to learn how to do it. I'm hoping that the next round, the fourth evolution, I'm going to take a little more time in these steps and actually slow it down and hopefully explain some of the process a little better. This area here, the line art, doesn't seem to be the most popular as far as the viewing public and everything. I think people really like to see the sketch. They like to see what it's going to be, how it's going to come to life, and then of course they like that third, or that that third step where we start coloring and things, because then you get to see the final project. So I think this is a good one to kind of squeeze that show and tell in. And again, thanks for suggesting that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it didn't go too long. And if you are just here just to watch the drawing portion, like I said, we've got a bunch of other videos that kind of show this process, which is cool. So here what we're doing is just kind of, it's like tracing. We're using these curves, and again, it's a little hard to get used to if you haven't worked in this sort of program. And I always get questions, what program am I using? This is Adobe Illustrator. You can use any vector drawing program to kind of do this same effect. There's one called Inkscape, which I believe is free. I've never used it. I've always used Adobe just because I've always had it. But if it is an expensive program, so if you don't have access to that, there is Inkscape and some other alternatives out there that you can probably achieve pretty much the same effect. It does take a little while to get used to, but we're just going through right now. I've got a palette, and I've explained this before, but I'll touch on it again. I've got a palette, which is basically, and I can even go up to something I just colored in. Like if I wanted to switch over to the red lines, all I have to do is there's a little eyedropper tool. I'll click on that, and then I'll click on the red line, and then I'll have that red tool again, or that red colored outline. And now, so I'm just going through, we're adding the little light bulbs and everything. We're doing that in sort of the orange outline. And then we go to color. I've got a separate set of palette that not only has that outline, but also has the fill color inside. And then I'll click on each one of those, and then it'll just automatically fill as soon as I touch the palette to it. And that's why that third one just kind of comes together real quick. You see all these lines. It gets a little confusing, again, just from watching that show and tell. You see all the blue line sketches that I do, and one of the reasons we use the blue line is because it shows up pretty well against these other lines. A lot of times I'll draw just in black. I don't always, for the Miskrits we do these color lines, but a lot of times when I'm doing line artwork, it's all black, which shows up really good against that blue. Now in this particular one, we have, he is blue, his body's blue, a lot of it. And you can't tell from here. You'll tell when we go to the color, but this blue is a little darker than the other one. So now he's going to start getting a little deeper blue because we want to start. You'll see we start adding those stars, because if you watch some of the other videos, you know that we want him to be sort of reminiscent of the constellation, the Ursa Major, Ursa Minor constellation. And we'll start adding, so you'll see some stars start to appear within him as he emanates his kind of starlight energy, or whatever you want to call it, his star power, because he's sort of an actor or a showman. So yeah, I'm liking the way he's starting to turn out. getting a little more powerful, and then I've already kind of got some ideas for the third one, and he's going to be even more powerful. So, or the fourth one. Sorry, I'm a little behind. This is the third one. But anyway, thanks for watching. Again, if any of those sketches you're interested in checking them out, or you're interested in purchasing them, you can email me at scott@circworks. And we'll be back to finalize this guy in the next episode. So thanks for following, and that is all.